This is 7th Generation Warfare, and I am your current host, John Nelson. This episode will be continuing to look at Marine Corps Doctrinal Publication Number 1, Warfighting. We are in Chapter 2, The Theory of War, and in this episode we'll be discussing the means of war. At the highest level, war involves the use of all elements of power that one political group can bring to bear against another. These include, for example, economic, diplomatic, military, and psychological forces. Our primary, their primary, concern is with the use of military force. Nonetheless, while we focus on the use of military force, we must not consider it in isolation from the other elements of national power. In 7th Generation Warfare, we're not using military force other than military acronyms and military theory. We're taking concepts of war. That's the only military force we're using, because they have actually, warfighters have thought very long and hard. This book, packs a powerful punch for how short it is. They have really boiled it down. They've thought about these things, and in other aspects of war, they take the ability for error out of it. And that's one thing we can apply to our 7th Generation War, is being clear and concise with all the things we do. But otherwise, we're looking more at the economic, the diplomatic, the psychological forces. Those type of forces come into play in 7th Generation Warfare much more than military. The use of military force may take any number of forms, from the mere deployment of forces as a demonstration of resolve to the enforcement of a negotiated truce to general warfare with sophisticated weaponry. I should say never use force, because certainly if, say, a home invader came into your house, you'd be using violence or whatever kind of military force you had to expel that invader, or if there was some sort of bigger nationwide disaster or regional disaster where society broke down in any kind of way, then yes, you might have to resort to more militaristic, violent, defensive, violent means. But yeah. That's it for the means of war. So this was a short one. Next week we'll talk about the spectrum of conflict. So stay tuned. This is 7th Generation Warfare. I'm your current host, John Nelson, and this was the means in war.